All right, ladies and gentlemen. I know I haven't done a reaction to a chapter of anything on a Friday ever since I stopped reading the unofficial scans of like One Piece and My Hero Academia like years ago. But I am happy that we get a My Hero Academia chapter today, which means we are not going to get one on Sunday. And since we're already on break for One Piece, that means that there's going to be no chapters for me to react to on Sunday, save for me doing my usual reactions for the One Piece episodes. So, if you guys are expecting any chapter reactions to be released on that upcoming Sunday, save your breath because it ain't going to happen. But we are here today to read through some My Hero Academia, so yo peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another My Hero Academia chapter reaction and review. We got a very early chapter with chapter 326, so let's go ahead and get started. Because the last chapter pretty much had Midoriya, actually being accepted into the group where everyone is, and being led by the civilians, and then all the students of Class A were leading everything in. We're told that, there was a lot of sentimental moments in the last chapter. With Uraraka's speech actually getting to the civilians, the old star-headed guy letting everyone know that, hey, we propped up All Might after all this time. Making sure I'm unmuted. We propped up All Might after all this time, and we were just spectators. Now All Might's gone, and we're in a state where we were so used to being saved by All Might and everything was peaceful all the time that we literally don't know what to do with ourselves simply because we relied on heroes that much. So the one guy who was there at the beginning of the series with Midoriya, when he first saw, Mount Lady going up against the gigantified court user along with Kamui Woods, he's the very person who's telling everyone, hey, we kind of need to step up as civilians because, sure, the heroes protect us, but who protects the heroes? We can't be sideline spectators anymore. And that was one of the greatest chapters ever. But it also ended with All Might just walking away from UA, intentions unknown. So let's go ahead and find out what happens. And it has I was about to call him Midoriya. It has All Might riding in Hercules, his car Hercules, out in the rain. And apparently, All Might is Ectoplasm is asking All Might, "Where are you off to now?" And All Might says, "I'm checking in on the hero-hating groups who refuse to join a shelter, Ectoplasm." And then he's just thinking about all the times that he's been with Midoriya, such as explaining to his mom, "I know I can't stop you." Like when Midoriya was still in the hospital bed after being in that semi-coma, he was saying, "I know I can't stop you. I'm coming too, whether you like it or not." And then it also shows the panel where Midoriya, still in his refusal and stubborn state, jumped away from All Might and ruined the bento box that he had sitting right there. With the next panel showing All Might reaching out for Midoriya's hand as he jumps away from him. And then it shows that All Might has gone to the location where Midoriya collapsed when he was first face-to-face with Dictator, the hired gun of All for One. And he finds Midoriya's destroyed mask there, because that mask came off when Midoriya was, going up against his own classmates. And he picks it up and he looks in the distance, and in the distance is the All Might statue that they erected, but someone's vandalized it by putting a sign that says, "I am not here." And then All Might starts speaking, saying, "You couldn't do anything for your disciple when he was hurting." And then it shows him thinking about a time when he was sitting with Aizawa Sensei. "You can live. You can be here. For a lot of people, that's all the push they need." And then he's just looking at the sign saying, "I am not here." And then All Might says, "At this point, you're only getting in the way, All Might." And he turns, and then someone says, "Ha." "All my goodness, it's Stain! It's Stain! Stain! It's Stain! Stain! Hero Killer Stain! Oh my goodness! Ah! I knew we were gonna see him at some point, but Stain! Stain is here! Yo! It's Stain! Stain is here! I have to refresh my live stream studio page real quick because someone said a comment and it didn't pop up. Michael Malger, what is going on? But I'm going back to the chapter. Stain is right here. Stain is right next to All Might saying, "What vile blasphemy against a great hero. Take it back, you witless fool." And then All Might just says, "Hero Killer Stain." And then All Might is talking to Stain, just saying, "You never crossed my path back when I was still on the job. Our face-to-face meeting got delayed, but I never imagined we'd meet like this. Explain yourself." Sure. You missed a lot while you were locked up. You see, I am All Might in the flesh. Not that you'd know it looking at me. Wrong. You're not All Might. And then All Might says, "I can't blame you for doubting." And then he assumes his muscle form, but it's just gone in an instant because he no longer has One for All. So sure, he can assume his muscle form, but it's literally for a split second. And then he just goes back to his normal form and starts coughing up blood. So, gonna kill me or... Then Stain says, "No, you're not All Might. You sham!" And then it shows Stain putting his sword even closer to All Might's neck. "Here upon hero holy ground, you dare to falsely claim the mantle of hero. Who are you really? Why presume to call yourself a hero? Speak!" Falsely claim? Fair enough. My whole life I felt spurred to action. I couldn't sit back and accept it when the madness kept taking from people, when their daily lives were stolen away so senselessly. Powerless though I was, I refused to sit on the sidelines. I had to make the world a better place somehow. And then Stain just glares at him. But I've run my course now, and this is the end result. And it shows a panel of a destroyed city. I'd give my life in an instant to protect my disciple, but I couldn't bring myself to tell him to take time for himself. And then it cuts to the panel where Midori's being led through the rain to go rest at UA. It's hard to explain, but I feel as if I'm the only one who's become more and more distant from heroes, from heroism. And Stain just launches at All Might. He launches at him. And he launches at All Might. And then he just grabs him. And there's someone in the distance in the back. And then All Might is thinking, "What's this? From the start, I haven't felt bloodlust from him. A warm embrace? I don't know if we're pals on that level yet." And then Stain just turns around saying, "Ideal timing. Behold." And then All Might and then Stain forces his head out from a corner. And there's someone speaking in the distance saying, "They did it again? Ugh." And then some lady using some sort of quirk gets up on top of the statue and takes the sign off. "Well, until they get the message." And I guess she's been taking the sign off of All Might every time someone's put it on. And then Stain continues saying, "Every day she purges the blasphemy erected by the hero detractors. She likely travels from a nearby shelter and causes no small inconvenience to those in charge." And then All Might is saying, "Risking her life out here? And for nothing. Why on earth would she?" "Why?
That woman was the last person All Might saved.
Yo, it's the lady! It's the lady that was present when All Might was fighting All for One. The one that was trapped, saying, "Save us." The one he protected with the last vestige of his power and exposed his weakened state to the world. That was the last person he officially protected. And she's been coming back all this time, cleaning off his statue and making sure that it looks good again. Wow. And then All Might is just looking on. And then Stain is continuing his speech, saying,
"In the worst of times, All Might would maintain that grin and devote every fiber of his being to the people. It had nothing to do with powers or quirks. The man we knew as All Might could not live his life any other way. He carved those ideals into his very soul and was lauded for it. Who are you to presume to know the first thing about All Might? No, look upon that woman. The end result, you say? His influence lives on!"
And he's forcing All Might to just stare at this woman. And then Stain continues his speech. Good Lord, I love Stain.
"The flickering ember he left behind is nurtured by those select few who succumb neither to chilling rain nor howling wind until the ember grows anew into a roaring blaze. The people must not let that fire die out. No matter how undignified the struggle, they must stoke the flames so long as they draw breath."
And then the woman is saying,
"I'm doing my best. You too, okay?"
And then All Might's eyes just start to tear up. Just tear up, just tear up. And Stain continues.
"A hero can only claim that title as long as his soul burns fiercely in service of others. However, say a god has fallen, prostrate upon the earth, and his divine soul has turned feeble and mortal."
And then realizing that Stain was there when he saw Midoriya jump away from All Might, and All Might just fell to his knees and lamented on the ground. Stain saw that. And then All Might says, "What? You saw that? All this time you've been..." And then Stain turns away saying,
"No, I don't presume to know you. But if you are a true hero, make use of this information from my time in Tartarus."
And he throws a note and stabs it into the ground with one of his blades for All Might, saying,
"Then come for the life of Stain, the man who murdered 40 heroes. All for the sake of fixing this society."
And Stain's gone. And All Might continues to cry as the woman is looking up to the sky, with the last panel being All Might's upheld fist saying, "Oh, the rain's letting up." And that's the end of the chapter. Yo, we come back from break, and the first thing we get is Stain. Stain's back, everybody. I'm happy. I'm glad to see Stain. I'm always happy to see Stain. But Stain is always here to drop that knowledge on people so that people can understand what's really like. Hero Killer Stain is a hero killer only because he goes after heroes who do not take the title of hero seriously. Like, they're only in it for the glory. They're only in it for the fame and fortune. Which is why he only acknowledges people like Midoriya and All Might, because in his eyes, they are what a true hero is supposed to be. Despite what goes on around them, he sees All Might and Midoriya as people who can be what a true hero is supposed to be, putting their lives on the line with absolutely no care in the world for their own well-being, not being heroes for the sake of, you know, fame and fortune and glory and all this superficial stuff, but simply because it's the right thing to do, and they will do everything in their power to achieve that. And here we have Stain in this chapter, making All Might question his decisions. This was a great chapter. Oh my goodness, this was a great chapter. And I pulled up the wrong tab. All Might is on the road to his downfall. It remains to be seen if that is really truly where this line of thought is going for All Might. I feel like I would go along with that if he hadn't just met Stain and Stain made him question. And Stain made him reevaluate his thought process when it comes to thinking that he has absolutely nothing else to offer as All Might. I feel like he would continue on the road to his downfall if he had not met Stain in this chapter. But Stain appearing out of nowhere, that is not a coincidence. The whole speech that Stain just gave him, I feel like that was the push he needed, because after all this time, he kept feeling like there was nothing he could really offer his successor, Midoriya. And every time Midoriya did something new, it's almost like All Might felt like he was growing further and further more distant from every other hero, because since he wasn't the big, buff, powerful All Might anymore, then he really didn't have anything else to offer. But Stain is here literally telling All Might, you still have stuff that you can do as a hero. Like, let me go back. Because at first, Stain is all like, no, you're not All Might. And I feel like he's not saying, like, no, you're not All Might because you don't look like All Might. He's saying, no, you're not All Might because whoever All Might is pretty much the opposite of how the current All Might is acting. Because the current All Might is since he doesn't have One For All anymore, and he doesn't have his muscle form anymore, he feels like he's not as adequate as he used to be. He's lacking that confidence that he used to have. He's lacking that smile that everything is going to be okay. And he's been lacking that smile for a very long time. And Stain can see that. He knows this is All Might, but he knows that this is also not All Might. He knows this is the person who used to be All Might. But he also knows it's not the All Might that we have all known. The smiling All Might that would persevere through any sort of circumstance. He knows that that All Might is not present in Toshinori right now. That's why he calls him a sham. You call yourself All Might, but you're not All Might. You're a sham. The All Might I know would smile despite everything that was going on around him, in order to keep the hopes and dreams of people alive, and the fact and the thought of that there will be another peaceful day ahead. You're not All Might because you don't exemplify anything that All Might did. Stain can see that, and he also has been watching Midoriya and All Might, apparently, because his speech of when a hero falls and prostrates themselves on the ground, and his divine soul is turned feeble and mortal, he clearly was there to see All Might just drop to his knees when Midoriya brushed him aside and then just jumped off into the distance. So Stain has been watching all this, and he says that, no, I don't presume to know you. I don't presume to know you in any way. But this just pretty much puts into my head that Stain has been watching all this time. Let me go back to some of these things, because here's the thing. All Might goes out, and he goes to the area where Midoriya dropped to his knees, and the whole skirmish between him and his classmates ended, and his damaged mask is still laying on the ground there. And it's in the same area where they erected the statue of All Might after he had defeated All For One. And it's been defaced by people who have lost faith in heroes by saying, I am not here, and deface his whole statue. And then we come to find out that while Stain is explaining things to All Might, the same woman that he saved, the last official civilian that he saved as the big, powerful All Might, has been going to this statue every single time someone defaces it, and has been cleaning it up. The very last person he saved has been coming back to his statue and cleaning it from anyone who defaces it. And then here, Stain says, in the worst of times, All Might would maintain that grin and devote every fiber of his being to the people. It had nothing to do with powers or quirks. The man we knew as All Might could not live his life any other way. He carved those ideals into his very soul and was lauded for it. Who are you to presume to know the first thing about All Might? No, look upon that woman. The end result, you say? His influence lives on. And as he says this, as the woman is cleaning the statue of All Might, it shows pretty much every single student of UA. The flickering ember he left behind is nurtured by those select few who succumb neither to chilling rain nor howling wind, and he's pretty much referring to Midoriya and everyone in Class 1A as the nurtured few, being I'm trying to, what is the right word? As the few that are, keeping the flame that All Might left behind when he retired going. That's the right word. Until the ember grows anew into a roaring blaze. The people must not let that fire die out. No matter how undignified the struggle, they must stoke the flame so long as they draw breath. So even if All Might isn't there, there are going to be those who can hold up that mantle and thus keep that dream alive. That's what Stain is saying. A hero can only claim that title as long as his soul burns fiercely in service of others. So this is how Stain views heroes. A hero can only claim that title as long as his soul burns fiercely in service of others. He has to see that they have a passion to be a hero, not for the sake of themselves, but for the sake of others and for the service of others. Serving others with absolutely no intention of seeking reward or recognition or fame and fortune or anything that basically comes with being a hero right now. Heroes that have their soul burn fiercely to just be heroes and do what's right because it is right. Those are the people that Stain acknowledges as heroes. Say a god has fallen, prostrate upon the earth, and his divine soul has turned feeble and mortal. And then we find out that Stain's been watching him this whole time, but apparently, while he was in Tartarus, there's some information that he gained and he's given to All Might. So, I don't know if he's acknowledging All Might, or if he feels like this is going to benefit those he sees as heroes. Because he doesn't outwardly say that he acknowledges the current All Might right now as a hero. He's probably just giving him this note to give to others that he considers heroes, like Midoriya and the like. But he says, make use of this information from my time in Tartarus. Then come for the life of Stain, the man who murdered 40 heroes. All for the sake of fixing this society. See, I love it when Stain talks about the society. But this was a great chapter. I enjoyed it. All Might should go back to UA and be there for Deku. I feel like this was the push that All Might needed to see that his job as All Might is not over. That he still has some capacity to actually be useful. Like there's still so much left for him to do that he just can't simply give it up just because he feels like he's, I don't know, possibly not adequate enough to be of any help to anyone. Because he basically doesn't have any quirks anymore. He's in his permanent weakened state now. Midoriya has all these quirks he's using. Class 1A is more than willing to help out Midoriya. Everyone is willing to help out Midoriya right now. So I can understand All Might feeling like maybe he's not up to tasks. Either he feels like there's nothing more he can teach Midoriya, or Midoriya is just so powerful that he just sees no need to aid him anymore, which is why he tried to go away from UA in the last chapter. But I feel like this talk with Stain is the push he needed for him to say, okay, I think I got a little bit more left in me. At least that's how I view this chapter. I mean, the fact that Stain showed up at all to speak with All Might of all people. That's no mere coincidence. Right when All Might was just like leaving UA, and Ectoplasm was all like, "Where are you heading off to now?" It's no coincidence that Stain just shows up now of all times. But all I can say is I am enjoying this story for My Hero Academia. In the last chapter, I had no idea that we would be leading up to seeing Stain again, but I am also looking forward to what information Stain has when he was in Tartarus, because he was in prison the exact same time. Actually, he was imprisoned way longer than All For One, because he was already in Tartarus leading up to the events with All Might and All For One's final battle. So he's been in there far longer than All For One. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a whole lot of information about what All For One's plans are, or someone who's privy to All For One's plans, that I feel like the heroes are going to make some massive uses out of. Now, what Stain's going to do from here, don't know, but he said he's waiting on All Might to be the one to take him down. So we're just going to have to see what the next chapter offers. But we are not getting a chapter until next, not this upcoming Sunday, but the Sunday after next. And that also includes One Piece as well. So, actually, yeah, One Piece as well is going to be off break as well. We're off on break for One Piece for 2 weeks. And we're not getting a chapter this upcoming Sunday, which we would normally get. We would normally get this chapter on a Sunday, but we got it a little bit earlier for you guys. So we're just going to have to see where the story goes from here. But Stain is back, and he's just out there in the world. And who knows what he's doing. I highly doubt that he's joined up with All For One. Because that's just not his angle. At least that's how I feel it. Season 5 almost over, 2 more episodes. Man, this season's almost over already. I need to get started on the season. I need to catch up. But, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my reaction to My Hero Academia. Stain is back. He gives All Might that all-important pep talk that he's needed. And now we just need to see what All Might is going to do from here. Is he going to go? I'm pretty sure he's going to go back to UA with the information he has and update the heroes on everything that's going on. So we're just going to have to see where the story goes from here. All I know is Midoriya better be sleeping during this time. Or at least is taking a nice long bath and actually had some food. But like I said, we're just going to have to see where things go from here. So, I know this tends to be a little bit shorter than my One Piece reactions sometimes. But this was a pretty straightforward chapter, and I enjoyed it immensely. It was very good. I was glad to see Stain again and him give us that more heroic, philosophical talk that he always gives us. And I'm looking forward to the next moment we see Stain. But with that being said, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples.